Hey, good morning, YouTubers. I'm speaking on divide and rule and the will of Satan. It's explaining that in these last days that even Satan is beginning to do the will of God because he's getting the condition that he's not want to remain. When you study history or a message of the black man, it speaks about how the black man hasn't had his day in about 50,000 years. He's been in a dead state of conscience. And the 6,000-year-old man, ever since he's put in power, he's killed about 100 million people every 1,000 years. He spent his last few years in power trying to exterminate the black. If you study the Quran, one of the surahs explains, and we told the angels to bow down to Adam. And Satan said, "Is this whom you have honored above me? Because you honor him above me, I will cause all his seed to perish, and I will marry with him and integrate with him and share wealth with him and things like that." But actually, I just deceive him. The Quran explains that Satan will say, "No one can you come to near you, no one can overcome you while I'm near to you this day." But when the two forces met, Satan turned the flat hills and said, "Lo, I feel a God. I see what you see not. I had no authority over you. I just called it. You came." And that's what's going on today. We live in a time where Satan knows that he's at the end of his time, so he's working overtime to take as many people down with him as he can, and basically he's extended a lot of his crimes and things like that, which is actually which is actually really speeding up his judgment. It's explained that America and other countries are on God's list, especially America's number one on God's list to be destroyed for the mistreatment of the black man and women. Hitler explained that if they understood that why he was fighting them Jews when they kidnapped us and stole us from Africa, that was a direct challenge to God. And he explained that the white American citizens who are kept in the darkness will be terrified to know that all along that they have been mistreating God's real chosen people. And that's what we deal with now. You deal with people. Some people have never left the mindset of genocide and enslavement and things like that. We know what genocide is. And menticide. Menticide is the killing of a group's mind. Genocide is the destruction of a group physically. And colonization is like just basically being of a group of people that you could control like this. You could keep them. You could keep their minds destroyed, and you could keep them fighting and killing each other. And this is what we have to resist today. Resist the devil, and the devil will